not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight. And of course we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first turned pro, you would have thought maybe he could have.
It's gonna be a good one. I wouldn't count Manny out. I know he's a little older, but you know he's got a lot of experience, a lot of age, a lot of skills, and I don't really know who's gonna get that one. I feel like if he would fight with in the last fight with Ampo, whatever his name is, I thought like Barrera would take it, but I feel like Manny's gonna be.
Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring has sent a shockwave through the sport. At 46 years old, he's defying every conventional expectation. But this isn't about clinging to the past. This is about reigniting a fire that never died. Veteran trainers and insiders aren't just banking on the name. They're betting on the same electrifying speed, relentless pressure, and unshakable willpower that once shook generations of champions. Mario Barrios isn't walking into a routine title defense. He's stepping in.
Yeah, it's surprising. Obviously, I know Manny very well. You know, he's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything and you know try his best. That's what Manny. One thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best no matter what. So yeah, he's going to give it his all. Again, you can't beat Father Time, but Father Time is hard and it's very.
Into a storm. This is no farewell tour. No desperate grasp at former glory. This is a battlefield rebirth. Pacquiao isn't trying to prove he was great. He's here to remind the world that greatness never left. The boxing world exploded the moment Pacquiao's return was announced. But Terence Crawford didn't rush to add fuel to the fire. Instead, the undisputed welterweight king responded with cautious curiosity. Speaking to the media, Crawford acknowledged the magnitude of Pacquiao's comeback, but questioned what a 4-year layoff truly means at this level. Still, buried beneath his composed response,
I don't know. We shall see. I don't know.
Do you think he's too old at 46 to fight Barrios?
I can't say if he's too old or not. You know, if he get in there and win, then everybody will be saying different. So I don't put no limit on an all-time great.
Was the hint of something deeper, a flicker of respect. Because if Pacquiao steps back into the fire and performs at even a fraction of his old brilliance, it won't just be a comeback. It will send tremors through the entire welterweight division. Champions, contenders, and up-and-coming prospects will all have to reevaluate their place in the shadow of a legend who refuses to stay buried. When asked if Pacquiao is too old to compete at this level, Crawford chose his words carefully, because legends like Pacquiao don't follow timelines. Greatness isn't bound by the rules of age. If Pacquiao steps into that ring and overwhelms Barrios, every doubt disappears. Every critic falls silent. Suddenly, this isn't about
Barrios right now.
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. He should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible, you know.
age. It's about witnessing history in motion. The last time we saw Pacquiao draped in gold was in 2019, after outclassing the undefeated Keith Thurman. At 40, he proved the fire still burned. Now, reunited with longtime trainer Freddie Roach, the war drums are pounding once more. This isn't a nostalgic reunion. It's a strategic return to the formula that created a global icon. Also rejoining the fold is Australian strength coach Justin Fortune, another key piece of Pacquiao's legendary run. The trio is back together in Los Angeles, and just 2 days after landing, Pacquiao is already deep into full-intensity training. No easing in, no half measures. War mode has been activated. With the WBC welterweight title on the line, and the fight now officially set for July 19th in Las Vegas.
Exhibition for Manny in the last year, but this coming fight on July 19th, this is a real fight. Yeah, this is a big fight.
So they're gonna see a different Manny.
Yeah. I promise as a head coach, Of course, all the team fucking can work together with that.
There's no margin for error. This isn't about reliving past glory, it's about rewriting what's possible. It's about breaking age barriers, crushing expectations, and chasing one last crowning moment in a career already overflowing with them. Pacquiao is not simply stepping back into the ring, he's charging into the abyss like a man possessed. At 46, with battle scars etched into every fiber of his legacy, he's on a collision course with Mario Barrios, a 30-year-old machine armed with youth, hunger, and nothing to lose. This fight isn't about sentiment, it's about survival. It's about defying nature and destiny. Pacquiao's last official bout ended in a decision loss to Yordenis Ugas, a sobering reminder that time waits for no legend. Since then, he's dabbled in exhibitions, but this is a sanctioned world title fight. This
I think he's a bigger star than Pacquiao because Pacquiao was more normal as a fighter.
Is real. Barrios isn't here to inherit a torch, he's here to torch the past. But with every step Pacquiao takes toward this firestorm, he makes one thing clear: he refuses to fade quietly. Critics whisper doubts, fans are torn, but Pacquiao is all in, not for comfort, but for legacy. The countdown has begun. The legend returns, and Las Vegas is about to witness a fight that could rewrite boxing history one final time. Bob Arum's voice carried the weight of both history and heartache when he spoke about Manny Pacquiao's return. There was no bitterness, no shade, only reverence. To Arum, Pacquiao is more than a fighter. He's a symbol of perseverance, a rags-to-riches warrior whose rise from poverty to global icon was a journey Arum helped shape. But even loyalty can't blind a seasoned promoter to the dangers that now loom. This isn't 1999, Arum said.
Struggled with opponents, with Morales, with Marquez. He was a great fighter, Pacquiao, but again, he didn't have the same body of work that Inoue has. I mean, look over
bluntly, and Pacquiao isn't 25. He didn't deny Manny's greatness, but he made no effort to sugarcoat the reality. He pointed to George Foreman's stunning world title win at 45 as a possible precedent, but reminded everyone that Foreman had stayed active, fought consistently, and didn't face a fighter with the relentless pressure and youthful hunger that Mario Barrios now brings. Arum also mentioned Bernard Hopkins, who remained a top-tier contender into his late 40s, but Hopkins was a defensive wizard who thrived in methodical, tactical battles. Pacquiao, by contrast, made his name through speed, angles, and high-volume offense, the very attributes that are most vulnerable to time. This isn't just a comeback, Arum warned. It's a cliff dive. And waiting at the bottom could be either eternal glory or disaster. Manny Pacquiao's decision to chase another world title at 46 has reignited a fire
that he has to fight at 46 after 72 fights. I'm concerned that he's got to fight a young guy that has been active, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned about that. That's it.
Storm of awe and concern, splitting the boxing world between reverence and realism. Under WBC rules, former champions are entitled to a shot at redemption, but this isn't just any return. This is a full-throttle dive back into elite warfare after years away from meaningful competition. Critics are openly questioning the fairness, even the safety, of pitting a near-retired legend against a dangerous, surging fighter like Barrios. And yet even those critics can't ignore the weight of Pacquiao's legacy. The man is boxing royalty, the only 8-division world champion in history. For Bob Arum, that legacy is deeply personal. He helped build it, watched it unfold over decades, and now he watches with a mix of hope and worry. Back in 2019, Pacquiao was already being counted out before he faced the undefeated.
Yeah, one of my favorite people, one of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever, incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible, just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active.
Keith Thurman. Then he stunned the world again, proving that greatness doesn't always obey the clock. Now, 6 years later, he's chasing another impossible chapter. Whether it ends in triumph or heartbreak, one thing is certain: this is no gimmick. This is a final stand by a fighter who never knew how to back down. But not everyone shares Aram's cautious optimism. Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas has taken a much more grim view. On his podcast, Atlas didn't mince words. He's genuinely concerned that Pacquiao is gambling with more than just his health. Reflecting on recent performances, Atlas pointed to the 2021 loss to Yordenis Ugas and a lackluster exhibition against Rukia Anpo as signs that the fire may no longer burn as fiercely. To Atlas, this comeback isn't a tale of glory, it's a looming cautionary tale. He sees Pacquiao's political ambitions, his Senate return bid, and now this comeback all colliding into a narrative that feels less like legacy building and more like legacy risking. The heart, the will, the story, they're all there. But Atlas fears the body may no longer be able to cash the checks that Pacquiao's legendary spirit keeps writing. He warns fans that they might be about to witness one of boxing's most cherished icons walk into a storm he may not survive unscathed. And in Atlas's view, greatness should be remembered at its peak, not tested against time until it breaks. Pacquiao's story is one of one. There will never be another like him. But even legends have limits, and on July 19, under the unforgiving lights of Las Vegas, the world will find out whether the boxing god can defy time one final time, or if this last chapter becomes a sobering reminder that even icons are mortal.